Hi everybody. We're going to do the Onshape tutorial called Basic Sketching right now. So here I am on my Onshape main page, and I'm going to click over here on the Learning Center to open up all the tutorials. And where I'm going to head to is under here under Self-Paced Courses, All Self-Paced Courses. And then the one that we're looking for, Basic Sketching, if I click on Onshape Fundamentals, it's right here. It's called Introduction to Sketching. Now mine says completed because I have completed it. Yours will not. So I'll click on that, and it gives me a list of all the things I have to do. I'm going to watch all those videos, right? And then we're going to get to basic sketching. So this is the actual exercise we're going to do. And here it is. We're trying to make this this here. Now, you could make this, but what you're going to notice is there doesn't seem to be enough dimensions. And if you don't follow these instructions, there aren't enough dimensions. So that's why it's important to do the dimension or the instructions. So to start the instructions, I'm going to click this next page icon here and open up my step-by-step. Okay, and it says create a new document and be sure the workspace length unit is set to millimeters. Begin a sketch on the top plane. Reorient the camera to view normal to the sketch plane and hide all planes. Okay, so I'm going to go back to here and I'm going to create that document. And I'm going to call it Basic Sketching. Okay, so here it is. And they told me, let's go back to the instructions. They said, begin a sketch on the top plane. Okay, so if I want to make one on the top plane, I'm going to hover over the top plane, right click, make new sketch, and then it said hide all the planes. If you right click on any of the planes, you'll see all these options pop up. One of them says hide all planes. That's a really quick and easy way to do that. Now to look at the sketch normal is to click the N button. And there it is. Normal means perpendicular, by the way, in math. So that's really what that means. It doesn't mean normal as in you're abnormal and I'm normal. It means perpendicular. All right, so we've made that sketch. They said make sure that we're in millimeters and all that good stuff. I think they actually want the masses in kilograms. So there you go. Okay, so we've got that. And we're going to move on to the next. And you notice they have some hints there. Like they told us about the N and P shortcuts. I don't know what the P does, honestly, but the N was the one that I used to look straight down on there. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, so it wants us to make this rough shape. So it looks like here's the origin, two circles, a couple lines coming out, this little zigzag shape, and also a construction line between the center of the circle and this line over here. Okay, so let's do that. Let's start off. I'm going to pan it over a little bit. And by the way, to pan, you hold down the control key and you hold down the right key, and then you can just drag your screen over. That's really helpful. All right, now I'm going to get the circle tool. Now I'm going to start using shortcut keys because they really speed up the process. So to get the center circle tool, all you have to do is actually type C. And it will, oh, we actually have to be in our sketch. Who am I kidding? So we closed out of the sketch. Let me go back into the sketch by clicking Sketch Edit. Now I can click a C, which you notice highlighted the center circle tool. So I'm going to make two circles. I'm going to make one, go back to the same center and make another one. And then we're supposed to make a couple lines. So I'm going to start my line here, come out, and you know, I'm trying to be careful not to add weird constraints that I don't want. And so I'm trying to, I know it looks kind of wonky, but that's kind of how they showed it. Now, by the way, if you click the L key, that gets you to the line tool. Now, I want to make that construction line. Quick way to do that, click the L key for line, and then Q makes it construction. You notice it highlighted both tools. So I'm going to go from here to that line, and there we are. Okay, so we've got this basic shape that they're talking about. Now they want us to create a bunch of constraints. Okay, So I'm going to like kind of look this over first. Okay, one of the things I'm noticing is there seemed to be a vertical constraint right here. And I'm assuming that that vertical constraint, it's hard to tell because you can't see it, but looks to me like either this dot, I think what we're looking at is this dot and the origin and this dot and the origin are both vertical constraints, okay? And then also I'm seeing tangent constraints between here and the circle and between here and the circle. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and do that real quick. So I'm gonna make a vertical constraint, and by the way, I can get to that really quickly by typing a V between this dot and this dot. Okay, and I'm gonna, while I still have it, I'm gonna click on this dot and this dot. Okay, and you notice it made my drawing all weird. That's okay. I'm gonna hit escape, and I can always drag stuff down. I can take this point and drag it down and make it a little bit more like kind of how I started, There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Now I do need to make this line and this line and this line need to be horizontal. So I'm going to click H for horizontal and click both of those lines. Okay. I think that one's already horizontal. We could look at our constraints. There's nothing stopping us from doing that. Yeah, this one and these ones are already horizontal and vertical. Okay, but I do need those tangent constraints between this top and bottom line and the big circle. I'm going to click T for tangent, and then make one up here, and make one down here. Okay, so we've got those tangent constraints. Now, there's another one that we need to do, which is important, and we need to make this thing connect to the midpoint of this line. Okay, now one very easy way to do that is there is a midpoint constraint. If I click on it, and I click the thing where I want the midpoint to be first, and then the thing I want to be on the midpoint, which is this point, it moved it to the midpoint. Okay, now you notice it also made the drawing all crazy again. Well, why is that? Well, because there's no vertical or horizontal constraint on this line. So if I click H and then click on this line, we're a little bit more back to normal. Okay, so that thing needed to be horizontal to get this right. Okay, so let's go back and look at the instructions and make sure we're not missing anything. Okay, now I'm noticing a vertical constraint here. See, these vertical constraints are for the lines themselves. This vertical constraint's next to the point. Now I have to ask myself, well, what could they possibly want that vertically constrained to? And I'm thinking this point here, right? So if I go back to here, if I hit escape and get out of my tools, if I drag this, it looks like we already have one. Otherwise, they wouldn't drag together like that. Okay, so it does look like that is already happening there, so that's cool. And I do believe, yes, okay, you can see if I hover over this one, it's showing that point and that point, which is fine because those need to be constrained that way. Now, it did say that it wants this line, and this line to be equal. Let's use an equal constraint. I can get that by clicking here, or I can just type E for equals. And I'm going to click this line and that line. And what did I just miss? I missed it somehow. Let's zoom in a little bit. I think we're just kind of too many things stacked on top of each other. Okay, let's try that equals constraint again from here to here. Yep, there we go. And then I'm going to also do it from here to here. And that way I know no matter what, all three of those lines will be equal. Now at this point, I'm pretty sure I have all the constraints I need. And so I'm going to double check over here. Do I see anything else they're saying? Hint, depending on the size and resolution of your screen, constraints may be under a drop down, right? I've got a nice big screen, so I don't have to worry about that. But you guys are aware of that already. Okay, so now that we've got this thing fully constrained in the way we want, let's see what they want us to do next. Dimensions. So we're going to do a dimension between the center of the circle, or the origin, and this line over here. So let's do that. So, by the way, you can click D for dimension. And I'm going to click on the origin, and I'm going to click on this line, and I'm going to bring it down here and make it 200. All right. So let's see what else they want from us. Okay, next slide. Okay, so it looks like we need to make this line a 70, this one a 50. Now remember, this line, and this line are equal constraints. So if I make that 50, they're all going to be 50. And I also need to make a dimension between the two circles and make it 35. Okay, so let's see, a 70, a 50, and a 35. Let's go back and do that. So this one's the one that's supposed to be 70. I'm also going to turn off the show constraints. They just get messy. This one's supposed to be 50. Okay, and now I need to zoom out a little bit. And then from here to here is supposed to be 35. And why did that not work? I didn't click it, that's why. You punk. Okay, there you go. So now we've got this thing fully constrained, I do believe. And what do they want us to do next? Okay. Then we're going to add two holes. Okay. And the holes are going to be 35 from here to here. And the midpoint of here, and they're going to be a diameter of 25. Now, I was helping somebody out with this earlier today, and we kind of discovered something cool. If I type C to get the center point circle, if I go here and hover over that midpoint and drag out here and then hover over this midpoint, watch what happens. I reached a point where I'm at the two midpoints, which puts it exactly where I want it. So I can click that, drag it out, click it, and make it 25. Was it 25? Yeah, it was 25. And you notice I didn't actually have to dimension it. That's kind of neat. Okay, so again, hover here, find that midpoint, come out, the two midpoints, click, drag, make it 25, and bingo, we are good. All right, now what? Well, they say complete the sketch. Nice, I can do that. Click the green and complete the sketch. Now what? Okay, highlight the area and then continue to the next page and start the quiz to check your answer. Okay, so let's see what I got. If I click on the area, it says 16,682 and change. Okay, so if I come over here, begin self-check, 16,682. Yeah, it looks like it. I'm going to click there, see results. That is correct. I rule. Okay, great. So there you go, guys. That's how to do this basic sketch.